Good evening and welcome to One Spirit Actions Candlelight Vigil for Peace in the Ukraine. I am Reverend Lorraine Williams, class 2013, and one of the leaders of One Spirit in Action, which is the sacred service and activism branch of One Spirit Learning Alliance. On behalf of our team, I welcome and thank each of you for your presence here this evening. As the name implies, this vigil is an opportunity to keep watch. Not watch on the war in the Ukraine, but rather on the oneness that connects us. The shared consciousness that unites us as individuals, that reminds us to awaken to our power as a collective to heal, restore, and transform our world. There is no change in the world without personal transformation. Allow this evening of prayer, sharing, and singing to open your heart, to return us and remind us of that first connection, which was a heartbeat with another heartbeat, that relationship and relatedness that is the beat of a heart in unison with a heart, the shared melody of your breath in song with another breath. Our oneness that is always available, waiting for our attention and our intention to give it life. Thus, we will take a moment of silence and breath between each offering and be aware that this evening will be recorded. And there will be moments in which you will be unmuted to participate. With that said, let's take a deep collective breath together and exhale and take a moment. And then I turn it over to Salome Rahim, class of 2022, Grand Rising, for her offering.
Thank you, Lorraine. As is the custom of many cultures, we begin this very important and sacred event with song. And this is a song not to be performed, but to be sung together. Singing on Zoom can be a little tricky, but thankfully this song is made to be sung in rounds. The name of the song is Mir, Miru, Mir, and those are the words of the song. The song was designed, created by the Dances for International Peace, and it has been sung all over the world. And there's a dance that accompanies it, but we will have to dance in spirit tonight. So I will sing it through once, and then I will invite you to join. We will sing it together several times, and then with this signal, that will be our indicator to bring our round to a close. Spirit of peace, to your cause we give our strength, that love may reign and war may cease. Mir, miru, mir. Spirit of peace, to your cause we give our strength, that love may reign and war may cease. Mir, miru, mir.
Unmute yourselves and sing.
Spirit of peace, to your cause we give our strength, that love may reign and war may cease. Mir, miru, mir. Spirit of To your cause we give our strength, that love may reign and war may cease. Mir, miru, mir, once more. Spirit of peace, to your cause we give our strength, that love may reign and war may cease. Mir, miru, mir. Peace, peace on earth. Thank you.
If you've brought candles, please have those ready to light shortly. The history is complex. The politics are intense. The fear and anger are overwhelming, and the future is unclear. But glimpses of a hopeful vision will not be bombed into oblivion by anyone. In prayer, we call to mind the peacemakers, neighbors of differing faiths, with different histories, with different politics, with different emotions, who find room for each other in their hearts, in their dreams, and in their lives. Those who hold firmly to the vision of peace and justice anywhere in the world, but especially today in Ukraine. These words were written by Eric Cherry. So from early humanity to the present day, spiritual traditions have used a flame as a collective symbol to recognize the light of the divine and the same light that shines within each of us. There's also a shared belief that when we come together as a group in prayer or collective intention, we can impact change. That somehow, some way, we'll be able to bear more light in the world and within ourselves. Again, there was an invitation to bring a candle to this event, so if you have one with you, please take a moment to light your candle. And once you do so, if you can position it somewhere that's visible to others on Zoom, that would be lovely. As we light our candles today, wherever we are on this planet, and we have people from 3 different continents attending right now, we are creating a sacred container, a global sacred container, a sacred container to hold and deliver our intentions and prayers for peace and an end to the suffering of the people of the Ukraine. Our next offering will be shared by Reverend Ty Holmes, co-founder of One Spirit in Action.
Thank you, Rev Sonia. Hello, everyone. To paraphrase a teacher, the work of sacred activism is to build a bridge between the human heart and the world. It is to build that bridge, no matter how many times it has been broken. Tonight, as an offering, I'd like to read a poem entitled guidance, and fuel. I'll read it just 3 times, and we can slip in the silence together and move on. Guidance and fuel. Don't misunderstand anger. It arises when there is a perceived lack of love in the world. It is energized information. It is guidance and fuel, intelligently designed to help you sit down, look within, and then get up, go out, and be love. Don't misunderstand anger. It arises when there is a perceived lack of love in the world. It is energized information, guidance, and fuel, intelligently designed to help you sit down, look within, then get up, go out, and be love. Don't misunderstand anger. It arises when there's a perceived lack of love in the world. It's energized information, guidance, and fuel, intelligently designed to help you sit down, look within, then get up, go out, and be love. Thank you. And for our next offering, I will pass it on to Reverend Pippa.
Good evening, everyone. Love and greetings to you from the southern tip of the continent of Africa. And I want to take a few moments with you, our beloved friends and community, and to focus on the breath. The breath, our gift of life. Breath, our interconnectedness. Breath, a crucible of prayer. And the Tonglen, the Buddhist Tonglen practice, teaches us that prayer is, can be, and always will be prayer, our exchange of ourselves with others through the breath. And before we breathe together, let me share with you a beautiful, small piece of writing from the poet Judith Hill. And may this also be our prayer. Wage peace with your breath. Breathe in firemen and rubble. Breathe out whole buildings and flocks of red-winged blackbirds. Breathe in terrorists and breathe out sleeping children and freshly mown fields. Breathe in confusion and breathe out maple trees. Breathe in the fallen and breathe out lifelong friendships intact. Wage peace with your listening, hearing sirens, pray loud. And remember your tools: flower seeds, clothespins, clean rivers. And join with me for 3 deep, prayerful breaths this evening. Breathe in sorrow. Breathe out joy. Breathe in anger, war, and violence. Breathe out peace, peace, peace. Breathe in war, distress, destruction. And breathe out love, love, love.
I welcome you here in the Netherlands on Eikenburg Estate, which means Fortress of Oaks. It is the place where I may live. It includes a monastery founded by the Brothers of Love. Here in front of the monastery we see this statue, and I will show it on the front also. It is Saint George and the Dragon. The story of Saint George is teaching us some wisdom, which also is very applicable to what is happening in Ukraine. While Saint George is fighting the dragon alone, he asks the people to convert themselves. The story of course says to Christianity, but I think in depth it is about the good in general. We are asked to learn even more than before, to open our hearts to being and doing good, to being and doing love. It is what we, at least, can do and must do, while being witnesses. And at the same time, it is the most essential thing needed. I now will take you in silence to the statue and to a small chapel for Mary, to light a candle for peace. Peace for the people in Ukraine, for all the people involved, for all people in need, for all living creatures, wherever they are living, and for ourselves. and so it is.
Our next speaker will be Reverend Aziza Carol Reed, also known as Sister Aziza, who was a former Peace Corps volunteer in Moldova, who also taught students in the Ukraine.
Greetings, everyone. I hope the sound is okay. I'm at an award ceremony, but I had to be here tonight in fellowship with you. So I just want to share something with you called I Walk Down These Streets. When I first arrived in Moldova as a Peace Corps volunteer, I walked down these streets where I was greeted by the most hospitable people with open hearts, open homes, and they welcomed me with so much love. Unfortunately, Moldova is labeled with being the poorest, smallest country in Europe. It's not the smallest because they have the biggest hearts. It's not the poorest because they open up their homes when they do not have. I have walked down the streets in Odessa where they are now bombing, where people also opened their homes to me when they had nothing. I walked down the streets in Ukraine when they invited me there to teach, dance, and to sing curtains with them when they had nothing, but they opened these homes. So now the streets that I see on TV that no longer look the same, they're bombed, they're shells of buildings, there's devastation, there's trauma. But even in the midst of this, I can still see and feel those hearts that opened those homes when they had nothing and opened their hearts even though they didn't know me and welcomed me. Today, my family there, they didn't call on me to ask for help. I called them to ask them what they needed. And did they ask for the maximum? No, they asked just for enough so they could serve the million refugees that are flooding into Moldova and Odessa. Unfortunately, even in the midst of this trauma and devastation, cultural, socioeconomic, and racial disparities are still happening. When I arrived in Moldova as a Peace Corps volunteer, I did not know the mass of Africans that were living there. Mainly they're going to school. These are the people that are being stopped at the border. And these are when my friends and family in Moldova who are driving to the border to bring them across and make sure they receive resources. There's also a population there called the Roma people. The Roma people could be you and I. The only difference is the color of their skin, their racial background, socioeconomic background. And they also are not receiving a lot of the resources there. This starts even when they walked miles to get to the border. So I want to first thank the Ministers of Color Sacred Circle who held this space for me when I was trying to figure out what to do and trying to do it all on my own. I want to thank this fellowship tonight that's allowing me to share my experience and not just what we're seeing on TV about what's happening there and put a human face to it. And I want to thank this time for fellowship. I contacted a pastor that I worked with extensively when I was in Moldova. He was the one church that had a congregation that looks like our community here in One Spirit. His congregation consists of Russians, Ukrainians, Romanians, Roma, Africans, Americans. And he is a person that's on the front line, making sure everyone gets what they need. So he will be speaking in this video next. I just want you to remember that those are the streets that I've walked down, and they don't look like what we're seeing and the devastation of what we're seeing on TV. I just want you to remember these are people with open hearts and big hearts and will open up their homes for anything and anyone. And it's extremely unfortunate that this is happening at this time. And all that they are asking of us is that we do hold the space for them and pray for them. If we can do more, that's great. So I thank you for this time to walk down those streets with me and touch the hearts of those people that took care of me and opened their homes and their hearts to me. Amen and Ashe.
Praise God. My name is Johnson Adebayo from Nigeria, but permanently residing here in Moldova. By the grace of God, I have been living in Moldova for the past 20 years. As you know, Moldova is one of the countries under the former Soviet Union. It's one of the smallest countries in Europe, and it's one of the poorest country in Europe. Moldova share borders with Ukraine. And as you all know, the war is going on right now in Ukraine. The influx of the refugee has been very overwhelming. According to the government statistics, Moldova has received more than 350,000 Ukrainian refugees. The first week of the war, personally and with some of Nigerians here, we received groups of Nigerian students. With some of them, they were in my house, and we distributed the remaining to different places. They stayed here for 3 days before we organized for their journey through Romania so that they can be evacuated to Nigeria. We did the same thing. We facilitate the bringing in of some Indian students too. It has been overwhelming. Local churches, organizations, people are supporting, coming out with solidarity, with mobilization, and there are a lot of hospitality, which is very good. As a church, we are doing everything we can in our capacity. We have a bus that has been going to the border, bringing in people and distributing them into different places where they can stay before they leave. But 2 weeks ago, our eyes were open to another dynamic of the challenges facing these Ukrainian refugees, particularly a group of people or ethnic group of people that are called the Roma people. Roma people, I don't know if you know that, they are victims of discrimination, segregation, and they are counted to be a second-class citizen. Many of them were here when they came in from Ukraine. They were being separated from the, have the privilege to visit where they put them last 2 weeks. The conditions there were not really good. I was not satisfied. There are a lot of needs of support for these particular groups of people. So that is why I'm bringing this before you. If the Lord will put something in your heart, if the Lord will touch your heart to support us in helping and serving these people. Some of them, they don't have document. A lot of things. Some of them, they've lost everything. It is heartbreaking. But we as a church, we are trying to do what we can do. So we urge you, we ask you to please pray. And if there is anything you can do to support these people materially, it will be well appreciated. There are kids among them. Most of them, they are women because their men are not allowed to leave the country. They are being mandatory to stay back and fight for the country. So there are a lot of needs here. We appreciate you if there is anything you can do. Thank you very much. Please, I want you to take some few seconds to look at some of this picture of the things we have been able to do. Thank you very much, and greetings from the Redeemed Christian Church of God here in Chisinau, Moldova. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you to all of you for being here. Thank you so much to OSHA for creating this gathering, for calling us together in community to bear witness, to offer our prayers, to bring whatever light we can to a situation that, as Pastor Johnson just said, is so heartbreaking. I'd like to share a poem first by a writer named L.R. Nost to lift up the people like Pastor Johnson and so many others in all of the countries surrounding Ukraine and other places in Europe who are opening their homes and opening their hearts and giving of whatever they can to the people who are in need. She writes, "Here's to the bridge builders, the peacemakers, the light bringers, those valiant souls glittering like beacons of hope in this present darkness, reminding us that good still exists in this world, and that maybe, just maybe, we can do better and be better, so the next generation can build on our successes instead of stumbling through the rubble of our failures." We have seen and we see every day what our failure to love, what our failure to recognize our kinship, our brother and sisterhood with all human beings who inhabit this world. We've seen the impact, we've seen the rubble. Heartbreaking. Not the legacy we want to pass on to the next generation and the generations after that. On the wall above my desk is a calligraphy from Thich Nhat Hanh that was gifted to me about 20 years ago. It says, "Peace in oneself, peace in the world." Peace in oneself is not enough to guarantee peace in the world. But peace in the world is impossible without peace in oneself. Within every one of us, there are seeds of war. There are seeds of hatred. There are seeds of prejudice. There are seeds of the greed that wants to grab for ourselves, despite the impact on others of our doing that. And within each of us, there are seeds of goodness. There are seeds of compassion. There are seeds of nobility of spirit. There are seeds of radical and ferocious and fierce love. Which will we plant and which will we tend, day in and day out, not just once, but again and again and again and again. The work of a lifetime. This is a poem by John Rodell. I can't make the world peaceful. I can't stall tanks from roaring down roads. I can't prevent children from having to hide in bunkers. I can't convince the news to stop turning war into a video game. I can't silence the sound of bombs tearing neighborhoods apart. I can't turn a guided missile into a bouquet of flowers. I can't make a warmonger have an ounce of empathy. I can't convince ambassadors to quit playing truth or dare. I can't deflect a sniper's bullet from turning a wife into a widow. I can't stave off a country being reduced to ash and rubble. I can't do any of that. The only thing I can do is love the next person I encounter without any conditions or strings. To love my neighbor so fearlessly that it starts a ripple that stretches from one horizon to the next. I can't force peace on the world, but I can become a force for peace in the world. Because sometimes all it takes is a single lit candle in the darkness to start a movement. Lord, make me a candle of comfort in the world. Let me burn with peace. Beloved, make us candles of comfort in this world. Let us burn with peace. Amen. And now we'll have a piece of music, a beautiful song from Becky Suzik, Class of Grand Rising, Class of 22.
Take a moment to bring all of your hearts into my heart across these Zoom rooms, this circle that we share of love and compassion. I'm so grateful to be here. And above my shoulder is Berezhnia, goddess from the Slavic tradition, who before Ukraine had their independence was honored as the hearth goddess, a goddess of the home, of care for children and mothers. And in 2001, this statue was created and erected in Kiev and stands overlooking and has now become a protector goddess of the entire country. I'm grateful to share a song with you today. It's actually in Italian, and it's a song that honors the protective energy of the angels. The lyrics to the song in English are, "The Virgin of the Angels, cover me with your mantle. Protect me vigilantly, sacred angel of God. The Virgin of the Angels, and she protects me. She protects me." La Vergine dei Angeli mi logra del suo mento e me protegga vigile di Dio angelo santo. La Vergine dei Angeli obra del suo manto e me protegga vigile di Dio l'angelo santo. La Vergine degli Angeli e me May peace be in Ukraine. May peace be in Russia. May peace prevail on earth.
Thank you. That was beautiful. So we have a few minutes to invite you to do two things. To give people a chance to type in your prayers, your thoughts, your intentions, if you'd like, into the chat and share it with the group. I think that's going to be opened up now. And we have literally like 2 to 3 minutes for a few people. Let me see if I could see everybody. A few people to just offer a very brief sharing. If there's anyone that would like to offer a prayer, a thought, a poem, a word or two, and within a minute, so that we could keep it really tight, please raise your hand. Barbara Almonte. Lynn, can you allow Barbara Almonte to unmute?
Yes.
Hi, Barbara. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Not really.
Okay.
Now, yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. I would just like to ask others that are on this. I feel the power of this and how effective this can be. At 12 o'clock every day, there is a group of people that I know of, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It could be whatever time you want. But we do a 4-minute meditation, silent meditation, wherever you are, to bring peace to the world, and lately we've been focusing on Ukraine. Thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Barbara. And would anybody else like to share? Okay.
Sonia, there's a Reverend Kai who has asked if she can share a traditional song in Ukrainian. I don't know where she is.
Is she on the call?
Yes.
Yes. I that would be lovely. Lynn, can you allow her to unmute? Hello, Reverend Kai. We can't. I can't really hear you.
Oh,
Now I can hear you. No, I heard your voice then.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Welcome.
I'm delighted to be here. I think collective power of prayer, apart from sending funds and all the practical help, we are helping by directing our intentions and similar vigils like this. I wanted to offer a very short. It's a song that was actually very popular during the Second World War, with the soldiers that were hiding in the forests. And actually, this song is in like 5 languages, because the Eastern Czech Republic, the Eastern Poland, the Western Ukraine. So everyone was singing that song around the fire. It expresses the longing to come back home and to one's beloved and the motherland, and to stop fighting. And in the chorus, it's like the soldier from Ukraine is sending home the falcons and the larks to go visit the motherland. So I just wanted to offer that, if you're going to be patient with my singing here. So this is my prayer offering for the suffering. When people sing, it represents the time of peace and not the time of war. Hej, ties tam, де ho чорні води, сів на коня козак молодий, Плаче молода дівчина, іде козак з України. Гей, 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 соколи, оміяйте горі, ліси, гори. Дзвін, 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 дзвіночку, степовий жай вороночку. Гей, 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 соколи, оміяйте горі, ліси, доли. Дзвін, 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 дзвіночку, степовий жай вороночку. Жаль, жаль, за милою, за рідною стороною. Жаль, жаль, серце плаче, більше і не побачу. Гей, 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 соколи, оміяйте горі, ліси, доли. Дзвін, 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 дзвіночку, степовий жай вороночку. Гей, 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 соколи, оміяйте горі, ліси, доли. Дзвін, 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 дзвіночку, степовий жай вороночку.
Thank you, Rev K. That was so beautiful. So now, could you please, Lynn, could you please place that PDF in our chat for everyone? Thank you. So, One Spirit in Action has pulled together a list of 3 different organizations, charities that we wanted to just offer to this gathering in the event that anyone feels moved to make a donation. This will be, I believe, available on our affinity page as well. I'm going to pop open, I'm going to share my screen. Let me see where that is. Hold on one second. And I will show you what this says. There we go. Okay. So the three different options that we have that we'd like to offer for you to donate to if you're moved is Sister Aziza, who spoke earlier, created a GoFundMe to support and Sister Aziza, if you're available, and if we could also spotlight her as well, if you're still on. Sister Aziza created this to support Pastor Johnson and his work in Moldova, and it goes directly to his church and to the refugees that he's working with. Sister Aziza, are you still on?
She left. She signed off a little while ago.
Okay. That is one. There's a download. There is a PDF that's been posted into our chat. You could download this, and these are clickable links. We also have been donating to the International Rescue Committee. For years, One Spirit in Action has been supporting their work. And we also wanted to suggest Doctors Without Borders. So now, let us move to our closing. So, these following words are also by Eric Cherry. Spirit of light and love, be present with all who are suffering terribly from the violence in Ukraine. Lift up the hearts of those who fear and inspire courage among the peacemakers. Be present with political leaders ensuring a retreat from violence and a procession towards the peace table. Guide the hands of all those who are caring for the injured, the hungry, the grieving, and open our hearts to compassion. Remind us of our complicity and responsibility, and lead us towards generous engagement, and move us always, always, always towards a vision of peace. So as we prepare to extinguish our peace candles together, I invite you to bring a thought to mind. A thought, bring in a thought, a prayer, or an intention into your mind. For peace, for the Ukrainians, however it takes form. And once it's clearly in your mind, then move it down from your mind into your heart. And on the count of 3, we will blow out our candles. And in doing so, we'll send our intentions from our hearts in our breath out into all that is. 1, 2, 3. And you can move your hands through the smoke and let your prayers and thoughts be released in the smoke. And as we close, we will close with the reading of Peace in the Heart. And this is by Lao Tse. If there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. And if there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. And if there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. And if there is to be peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. And if there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. May there be peace in Ukraine. May there be peace in Russia. And may there be peace in our hearts. Go in peace.